Hey everybody, I got three people in here. I don't know how many people are gonna migrate over from Steve's stream. Hey Blair, you say longest intro on YouTube at 12 minutes. It's not quite that long. I think it's about 3 minutes or so, Blair. But yeah, I do have long intros. Um, Steve teases me about that quite often. I do have my last drive-in Christmas shirt with maybe I can, yeah, that way y'all can see the design good. I think I got this last year. I gave like $50 to charity, and I got this Christmas shirt with Joe Bob and Darcy and Ernie on it, and got a little last drive-in tote bag as well. I think if you gave $100, you got I think you got a hoodie too, like a last drive-in hoodie. But I was good with the. I think this was the only way you could get the shirts. The Christmas shirts was to give at least $50. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll do that, and the money will go to charity, and also I get something cool out of it too. Hey, Scott, hadn't seen you in a while. It's good to see you here. Blair, you say you're just saying, no, it's cool. I kind of razz Steve about it, or get kind of perturbed at him whenever he does it. But yeah, anybody else that says it, I don't mind that. Hey, Texas. Um, Scott, you said Joe Bob's next fundraiser is coming up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see. I'd like to give money every time. Of course, I just started the my new job, and haven't quite got a paycheck yet. I thought I was going to get one Friday, but turns out I'm not getting one until the 16th, which is fine. I was just a little bit shocked because when you're expecting something and then you don't get it, it's kind of like, okay. So I was very concerned because I thought maybe I did something wrong as far as my direct deposit or something. So I contacted HR, and they said, oh, well, we got paid on December 2nd. So the next pay period will be December 16th. I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. Hey, Darren. Um, well, Scott, I'm not actually working as a dentist. I am working for Smile Doctors, which are orthodontists. But I'm in the IT department. I don't think anybody wants me working on their teeth. So yeah, I'm helping with like the technical side of things. The doctors and the assistants, and all of that work at the Smile Doctors orthodontics offices. And there's a lot of different smile doctors all around the United States. And so they call in when they've got computer problems, or they've got problems, their x-ray machine won't do x-rays. And we have all the different protocol steps that we go through to help them. But I won't bore you guys with all of that stuff. But excuse me for eating. I hadn't had a chance to sit down and eat anything for my dinner, and so I'm eating some um I think it's chicken pot pie, like soup. It's like the Campbell's chunky soup in the tall cans. Um, but yeah, that made me laugh though, Scott, when you said, "Aren't you working as a dentist now?" And actually, if I was a dentist or orthodontist or anything like that, I wouldn't get to work from home. But because I'm working in IT, I get to work from home for good. It's 100% remote. No getting out and all different types of weather and having to mess with bus rides, unless I want to go somewhere in Louisville when I have some time off or something like that, and Steve's not able to take me or something, then I would take the bus. But anyway, Um, so anyway, you guys may see me eating the soup, but once we get the movie started, I would think people's eyes are not going to be on me, so I'll probably finish it up during like the first part of the movie. Um, so anyway, what we're planning on, or what I was planning on doing tonight, is a watch along for Don't Open Till Christmas. Um, Thankfully, there is a really good link on YouTube now for it. I think it might be the HD version. I know back when me and Steve did something like a year or two ago, we found out once we got a little ways into the movie that it, for some reason, was an edited version of it. And I'm sorry for these dang flies flying around here. They gotten a little bit better, and now I don't know what's going on. Probably because I'm eating back here or something. But um, so anyway, I found a really decent version on YouTube, and I have put the link in the chat. If somebody needs me to repost that, just let me know. I'll be glad to do that for you. There's also a link for anybody that wants to join me live on the stream to do the watch along with me. Um, if nobody wants to, that's fine. I've done these by myself before and managed to get through them without incident. But if anybody, even if you come in here later or you decide later, I mean, even after the movie's already started, we can, get you all up to speed and then get you on here. And I'd be glad to have anybody on here, anybody and everybody that wants to be on here live. If you guys that are in here just want to watch, um, as I talk about stuff and you don't get too bored, then that is fine as well. Um, but if you need me to repost any of those links, either the YouTube link for the movie or the StreamYard link to join me live on the stream, just let me know. I'll put them back in the chat for you. Scott, you say I have a DVD that's basically like a DVD-R. Yes, I had that too, until Steve got me the new version that I think Vinegar Syndrome put out. I also got Evil Laughing that Steve got me as well. So I should have brought them back here with me. Or should have brought Evil Laugh back here with me, and I forgot. But maybe I'll do that like one of my next streams I do. So, just a little reminder, I'm doing another watch along next Saturday for Christmas Evil. This was a request. Darren, I can't remember if you were the one that requested it or somebody else did, or it was more than one of you that requested it, but I somebody asked about it. And so next Saturday, normally I would start at 7 p.m. Eastern time, but Steve is doing a watch along also on that night. And so he's probably going to run till about 8 p.m. Eastern time, which means that I probably won't start till around 8ish on that one. So I hope that is okay with everybody. Darren, you say yes, it was me. My brain, like has been like mush lately, and so I have a hard time remembering different things. Well, so much going on with the new job and everything, but I did have that right, so that's good. Um, I'm hoping we have quite a few in here. We got about 5 right now. Before we get started, does anybody need me to repost those links? And is there anybody that wants to come live on here? It can be audio only if you want to. But I just wanted to ask that before we get started. And basically, too, I'll tell you, I'm, oh gosh, Brandon's barking again. I have mine queued up to just the black screen before the movie starts. Um, so, um, so if you want to get your respective copies queued up there, then you can. I heard Steve sigh, so I don't know if he's aggravated with Brandon or not. But Brandon, bless his heart, I've been dealing with him most of the afternoon. I was hoping, he ate and I gave him his trazodone, which helps him sleep. And I was hoping he would lay down, but he must evidently not. He's pacing around. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started here. I'll say 7:15. We'll start just to give. Well, now we drop down to 4 people. I'm just trying to get a little sustenance in me too before I get started with this. Because the other night when I was doing a Thursday evening, when I was doing my dinner with the Palma stream, I mean, me and John had a really good stream that night, but I don't know if anybody noticed that was in here, like towards the end of it, I was almost ready to zone out because I was sweating and my blood sugar, I guess, had dropped really low. Now we're down to 3. Hopefully, we're going to have some people in here tonight. Like I said, I think sometimes people just are looking around to see who's doing live streams. And if it doesn't seem interesting in a few seconds, they tune out and go to something else. I thought Steve said something about having 19 in there at one time. Of course, he goes through and I'm not saying Steve couldn't get all these people on his own, but he does go through the Dead Pit channels, and I'm going through my own thing. So I think there's a little bit of a difference there. But anyway, well, now it's 7:16. So, is everybody all queued up and ready to go? If one or two of you can just let me know that you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started. I'll do the countdown and we'll go ahead and get this party started before we lose any more people. And I am going to finish my soup. So, like I said, just if one or two of you could say, hey, I'm ready. So, Scott's saying he's ready. Darren's queued up. All right. So, let's go ahead and Texas is queued up. So let's go ahead and I'll do the 3, 2, 1, and then we'll all press play together. So 3, 2, 1, press play. And I do have mine muted. A lot of these movies that I do watch-alongs for, I know the dialogue pretty much by heart and the plot and all that stuff. So I don't really feel like I need the sound. But even people that are on here live on the stream with me, if you have the sound going a little bit, I mean, it's not a big deal. So it looks like this guy dressed as Santa Claus is getting a little late night action from this lady that they're going to be shortly fogging up the windows here. Well, I think they already are fogging up the windows. Yeah, Texas the return of the breather. And the guy's obviously visibly upset that somebody is kind of creeping around the car, which this would be a reason not to be having any kind of sexual activity in a car. But some people can't wait. Uh-oh. So the guy was still had his Santa pants on. He just got stabbed, and now his woman is trying to. Now this is pretty stupid though, because she's just backing up, and I tell you, I forgot I had the subtitles on, and these subtitles are terrible. Those really bad subtitles that aren't. I guess they aren't professional subtitles, just something somebody's done. So I always thought the opening credits it's just kind of bizarre, but it's neat too. Um, the um, the wax Santa melting, and then it looks like there's a knife on the inside. Scott, you say I'm looking at the HD YouTube in my DVD. DVD looks like VHS. Yes, the auto YouTube subtitle is usually bad, Scott. I agree with you. And this was directed at least partially by Edmund Purdom, and Edmund Purdom also acts in the movie as Inspector Harris. But I think the word was that most of the stuff that Edmund Purdom shot was such a mess that they had to have it redone. So I'm not sure how much of any of the film is Edmund Purdom's work. So I wanted to ask Darren this, since this is obviously a British film. So I kind of wanted to get Darren's thoughts on this, because I'm not up on all the lingo, the UK lingo. Um, so when Cliff comes in here, the young guy that was dancing with the blonde earlier, when he comes in here, he talks about it's turning into a real orgy out there. And I hope Darren doesn't think I'm stupid for asking this, but does the term orgy mean something slightly different in the UK than it does here? Because when he said that, he said it's turning into an orgy out there. When I didn't see anybody like making out or having sex or anything. So I was just curious. Okay, so we got another guy dressed as Santa Claus here. And we know what happened to the Santa Claus at the beginning. And there's somebody creeping around here with a spear. Um, and we know that something bad is more than likely going to happen right about here. Yeah. But that is a great shot, though, with the with the party thing coming out, and then the spear coming out of his mouth as well. Um, and of course, Cliff is going to try to play the hero here, and um, he saw this shrunken head dude going around. He'd already said it was putting people off their food because he was so gruesome. But it was a costume party, so he probably didn't think much of it. And of course, then, you just saw the mask and stuff there, but the killer was nowhere to be seen. Okay, Darren, you say it means the same, I think. Okay. So I guess Cliff was maybe just overstating it. So now we have the new Scotland Yard as opposed to the old Scotland Yard, I guess. And there's Edmund Purdom, who I always enjoyed Edmund Purdom and whatever he was in. I mean, I enjoy him in this. I enjoyed him in Pieces, Anthropophagus. Um, just, we I really thought he was an accomplished actor. I mean, whatever people may think of his directing, to me, that's kind of beside the point. I focus more on him as an actor. And I think he does a great job in this, as he does in all the other films that I've seen him in. I think he was also in a movie called A Tour the Fighting Eagle, but I have yet to see that one. So Inspector Harris and his partner are coming to check on Kate, whose father was the one dressed as Santa Claus and was just murdered a couple of scenes earlier. Um, um, Darren, I hadn't got an ad break yet, but do you need to do you need me to give you the timestamp for it so you can get caught up? So here's another guy who's dressed as Santa, and he must be a chestnut vendor as well. He's getting strangled, and now, oh man, his face. You know what? I think that part might have been slightly edited, or something happened on my end. So, um, because I thought that you saw the part where he, like, the killer lifted the guy's face up after burning it, and it kind of looked gross. So, guys, I do apologize if this is slightly edited. I didn't think it was, but unfortunately, that part of it seemed to be missing. Okay. Darren, let me get you that timestamp. The timestamp is 10 minutes and 34 seconds. Scott, you say, yeah, I had ad breaks I had to skip over as well. Hey, Menelect, happy Saturday to you as well. His Edmund Purdom, or Inspector Harris's housekeeper, seems weirdly interested, I mean, it just seems odd how interested she is in the gruesome details of these Santa Claus killings, because she makes a comment. Yeah, perhaps he'll show me some of the photographs on Wednesday, and it's like, well, why would you want to see that? But when I was watching the extras for the Vinegar Syndrome um, version of Don't Open Till Christmas, they did say um, that there was a scene that they cut out where I believe the housekeeper had something to do with some of the killings, and, like, she was laughing. It was so funny. It was just, like, really over the top laughing. Um, like, I'm just the evil one, you know? So I'm kinda glad they didn't go that route. Um Scott, you say, I just did a search to find it. Is the YouTube video called Don't Open Till Christmas Full Horror Movie Streaming Movies? Yes, yes, it is. That's the one, Scott, that I am using. Yes. Now, Steve and I did a commentary for this movie a few years back. And it has come to my attention that some people would like there have been a few people that mentioned to me they wish that me and Steve would do some more commentaries, that they really enjoyed them. Unfortunately, I'm having a hard time getting Steve on the bandwagon to want to do those anymore. So instead, I do watch alongs on my channel. Steve occasionally does watch alongs on his channel. Maybe, or not his channel, but the Dead Pit channel. But perhaps I might be able to get him to do one in the near future. And now this actor here is Alan Lake, and sadly, I believe he committed suicide at a young age. I think not long after this movie was done. I believe his wife died, and I'm guessing that ultimately led to his suicide, which is very sad because I think he would have had a much larger career um, in other movies because he's a very intense. I think this is an intense performance, and it's something about his eyes. I think. Um, and I believe that Steve even said he was like the British David Hess, um, which I could kind of see that. I mean, a certain way his eyes look and stuff like that. I don't know if any of the rest of you think that or feel that way, but I do see similarities, slight similarities between him and David Hess. And we have yet another guy dressed as Santa. What I want to know is why do a lot of these Santas, oh, he just got shot right in the mouth. And see, they showed that, but I don't know if it was just something messing up with mine on my side. Did anybody see the chestnut vendor Santa Claus get, they see his face be all melty? Because it was like it skipped over that, but then it showed the brains and blood on the back of that guy's head. So kind of strange. But I just wonder why all these Santas, or most of the Santas here, are visibly drunk. Uh, let's see. Hey, Wes, you say, hey, Dana, I ordered my Don't Open Till Christmas from Vinegar Syndrome during the sale, and those assholes haven't shipped it yet. See, that's what I try to tell you, Wes. Yes, next week, Steve, I believe Steve will be streaming on Twitch, Scott. Who's the German David is? I have no idea, Texas. And yes, Darren, you can jump on audio. I am going to add you right now.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all fine, all good.
Okay, cool.
I apologize for my voice if because I had a little bit of a cold, like so.
Oh, you sound okay to me, but I hope you're feeling okay.
Yeah, not too bad now. It's like minus. I was telling Steve earlier, it's like minus 12 in some parts of the UK at the moment.
Ooh,
It's ridiculous.
gracious. That's cold. Let's see where we're at here. Oh, okay. This is now this guy, I think he has been on several other things. Cliff's friend here. But he is so sleazy in this movie. What do you think about this guy, Darren?
Yeah, well, this is quite funny actually. In the UK, this guy played pretty much in a really popular soap opera
Oh, okay.
called The Bill. It was all about police. So it's always funny when I see him. And sadly enough, he died an alcoholic as well. He died early.
Yeah, I was
But
talking.
you,
I
go on.
talked
Sorry.
about Alan Lake a little bit earlier. I mean, what do you think about Alan Lake, Darren? Do you think he would have had a really like a much larger career if he hadn't died?
Yeah, he was certainly up and coming at the time. His wife was, I don't know if you know her, called Diana Dawes. She's quite a famous actress.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not familiar with stuff that she had done, but the name is familiar to me.
I think she'd done a couple of horror, I can't remember rightly, but only, I'm not sure. She done a Hammer film maybe, but yeah, it's quite sad. He just, I don't know what it was. He jumped in front of a train, was it? I believe, or
Yeah, it was. I knew he committed suicide, and that wasn't it. Dude, didn't she get real sick and die? And then
yeah, yeah,
not long after that, he killed himself.
yeah. And I always sort of think of Slaughter High as well with the,
Yeah,
Simon Scudamore.
yeah.
Quite ironic that the two films were made by the same people, and it, quite ironic.
It's kind of creepy if you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But yeah, he does. This guy does play the sleazy photographer really well.
Yeah, it's just like the sleaze is kind of oozing from this guy.
You can tell it's from the same makers as Pieces as well, really.
Oh, definitely.
So I always say it's a UK version, really, for me.
Mm. And I love this because Cliff goes back and forth between, you know, being that, hey Jerry, how you been? Going on, and then he makes one misstep or a couple of missteps, and Cliff like goes ballistic on him. Then he goes
Yeah,
back to being calm again. It's hilarious.
yeah. I'm like really glad to see the latest release of this because it needed a Blu-ray and needed a good release.
Now, guys, unless there's something weird going on with this version, you guys are going to get to see a little boob action. But I think, I think they've cut it out of this one too. Like, I don't know why they do that. Because I know
I'm probably just before you on you
Mm.
because I had another ad break while I've been talking.
Oh, okay. So let's see. I'm at 21:39.
Right, let me just check. So
So
yeah, I'm on.
guys, I do apologize. Evidently, some of the stuff has been edited out of this one as well. So I guess you're going to have to watch your own copies if you want to see the boobs.
So this runs at 1 hour 22. So I'm, from what I'm thinking, maybe it is the cut version, yeah, by a few minutes.
Yeah. I'm going to scroll down here and see if somebody had made any comments about having to edit it for some reason. Because I know, I can't remember if it was this one or another movie that somebody had put it on YouTube, but they said that all the unedited versions of whatever the movie was kept getting taken down. So when they put up their version, they took it upon themselves to edit it and then
Right, yeah.
record it. So I don't know if people complain, oh, there's boobs in this movie, or too much blood in it.
I'm surprised this version is even up actually because
Mhm.
of the new release. I thought they would have took it down.
I mean, I'm not too upset that there was no boobs there, but some of you guys might be. And I believe she opens up her robe here, and I bet they're going to edit this out. So you're going to miss boobs again, probably.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna miss too much though.
So, Darren, what are your thoughts on Edmund Purdom? Do you like him as an actor?
As an actor, yeah, I'm like a massive fan of Absurd. I know he,
Mm,
it's kind of like a small role in that, but it's big enough role, that I really like him. Obviously, Pieces is he's
right.
fantastic. Probably his best film, I think.
That's the
Um,
big one, I think, for everybody.
yeah, yeah. But as a director, obviously, he got kicked off this film. There was three directors
I believe
involved.
there was. And basically, and I said this a little bit earlier, but I'll say it again for anybody that missed that. Um, they basically said the stuff that Edmund Purdom shot was such a mess, and they didn't elaborate on what was wrong with it. They just said it was a mess, and they had to bring one or two other people on there to kind of straighten it out. So basically, they just said, "You're not going to direct this movie anymore. You can act in it, but you're not going to direct it."
Right, and then they brought in another guy, I think, called Derek Ford, who was
Mm,
sacked after 2 days.
yeah,
And then, obviously, then the main director on kind of can is it Birkinshaw, Alan Birkinshaw, I think.
yeah, I believe that's right.
I think he come on then and finished the film. But there's even in some scenes like where that I'll mention as they go, there's even different actresses that played. They shot it twice,
Hmm.
and you can actually see some of the footage in that documentary on the Blu-ray on the DVD,
Yep.
old DVD as well.
Now, this actress here, I believe it's Kelly Baker,
Yeah,
and I like her. I always had to me, I think she's very pretty, like girl next door pretty is what I always thought about Kelly Baker. And she was also in Slaughter High. Um,
that's right. Yeah, I really enjoy her now as well.
And I think Slaughter High and this movie are basically the only two movies I've seen her in, but I mean, it's entirely possible that she was in some other stuff.
I think she's she's not what you would call drop dead gorgeous, but she's attractive, obviously. And I
Yeah.
think, as a sort of girl next door type.
Yeah. Cute is probably what I would say about her. She's
Yeah, yeah. And she's very English as well with the accent.
yes. And I love it.
Yeah. The Santa Claus in this scene actually was played by a different guy in the other version I mentioned.
Mhm.
So that's quite strange to see that, because the other guy who played the Santa in this scene is quite a well-known UK actor as well.
I love though the what Kelly Baker said, like she says that she's filling in for yeah, there's where she said she's filling in for her mother.
Yeah,
It's like how old is her mother? But she's probably just kind of joking with this guy just to see what his reaction is.
another like sleazy film as well is I don't know why, but just reminds me a little bit in some parts. Is Nightmares in a Damaged Brain for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know
Well,
whether it's the Peep Show thing.
I think it is because actually this reminded me of Nightmares in a Damaged Brain as well, and I think it is the whole Peep Show thing.
Yeah,
Only Nightmares in a Damaged Brain goes to areas where this movie, even unedited, this movie doesn't go to. Um, and actually, I'm not saying I don't like Nightmares in the Damaged Brain. I do think it's an interesting film, but the Peep Show scene kind of made me uncomfortable because you literally have a woman almost. I'm not trying to be nasty here, but you almost have a woman inserting a vibrator or dildo inside her, like on camera. And this is not even like a porno. I mean,
yeah. It's
this is
very sleazy for
R-rated.
its time. Yeah, it's a lot darker, obviously, than this film as well.
Mhm. Something else that just struck me here, and I think I've noticed it before, is Edmund Purdom. I mean, other than looking like he's been on a, I hate to say this, but he looks like he's been on a 3-day drunk here, but his hair looks darker in some scenes than
Yeah, it's
others.
possible. Yeah, yeah. That's like I mentioned a moment ago. Like, there's some great footage of behind the scenes as well on that documentary. It's well worth. It's like 50 minutes long.
Oh,
Um, and you can see him when he's directing some of the scenes in like Chelsea Market, Portobello Market, yes,
yeah.
in
Mhm.
London. But
And that's
even just
probably
like, go on, sorry, Dana.
oh, I was just gonna say, and that's probably the only way you would ever see Edmund Purdom directing that any parts of this film is to watch that stuff. Um,
Yeah, yeah. And if anything, I was going to say, like, even if you end up not being a fan of this film, it's interesting anyway to see London back in the early 1980s.
uh-huh.
That still fascinates me
It was
because
probably a whole different place back then.
yeah, yeah, because the first time I went to London was, I think, 1986, so it would have been like 2 years after this. And it pretty much looked the same, obviously. Even now, some parts of London you can still tell
Mhm.
it hasn't changed at all.
So Scott says there's a comment on their YouTube page asking to upload the full version, so there might be things cut out. Okay, that makes sense. And
Yeah, I think it's minimal as well. I don't think it's anything major.
Texas says the guy with the camera is the British John Saxon. And Jeff is saying it's on Tubi, so I know Darren can't watch it on Tubi, but if there's any of you other guys out there that can watch it on Tubi, Scott says the version on Tubi is about 3 minutes longer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But this version looks really good, I think.
Yeah, I would imagine this is as good as a Blu-ray.
Hmm.
I still haven't opened the 4K version yet. You've opened yours, haven't you, Dana?
Yes. Uh-huh. And
You
it
said the transfer is good.
yes. In my opinion, it's probably about the best you're ever gonna see the movie.
Yeah, I'll be watching it as well again before Christmas. This is another one I really like to put on, Christmas Eve and early in the afternoon, maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
I,
wasn't this like public domain for a long time, wasn't it? Before Mondo Macabre got, their
yeah,
version out.
exactly. And at one time, I believe probably the Mondo Macabre version was probably the best version because um that at that point in time, I believe that was the only way you could watch that documentary.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that DVD went out of print so early as well. I
Yeah.
managed to get a second-hand copy for like £10. But
Okay.
even months after looking it up on eBay and that, it was going for like over 100 within a matter of like weeks, months, maybe.
Oh yeah, Steve was kidding me when I told him that how much it was going for. He's like, "Oh well, I guess I need to sell mine all." I said, "Well, I guess you could, but
See, it's hard to tell nowadays what's gonna, what to sell off and what not to, because you're taking a big risk, and you.
oh yeah." Oh, hey, old Curly Jaws. Old Curly Jaws is in the house here, so we've got about 7 in here right now.
So this film actually took 2 years to make, then to complete,
Mhm.
because when Purdom quit, obviously that other guy got sacked. But they had to go and do like a lot of reshoots. I didn't realize it took 2 years though. Just reading up on it now.
Now, what this place coming up, Darren? What is it called? This creepy place that this guy ends up going to hide?
Yeah, I think Steve asked me this last time. It's the London Dungeons
Okay,
Underground. It's like a tourist spot. I'm thinking you can still go there now.
it's very bizarre though. I hadn't seen anything exactly like that.
Oh, it's creepy. Yeah, even nowadays, it's creepy.
So, have you been in it?
No, I've been to Madame Tussauds, the wax museum. I've,
Hmm.
I've never been to there though.
It's a
So
wonder this guy the character, I should say, didn't kill himself before the killer could get to him.
you because I got the Santa Claus now going on the bike. Is that where you are?
He's just, I guess, he was climbing down the wall or something like that, and the dog's after him.
Oh, right, okay. You
About
got to laugh at these punk
35.
rockers as well. It's
Yeah.
so English. But that's how they were back in that day. You'd walk around London back in the early '80s, and that's all you would see is punk
Would
rockers.
they like if they didn't like the looks of you, would they chase you down like that?
Oh yeah, 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 for
You can
sure.
actually see the name of it that says London Dungeon on there. So, okay, I guess I missed that. I don't know why, but I always thought that was funny because he just runs over that woman. So, Darren, you were saying that the punks back in the day, they would if they didn't like you, they'd just chase
Oh
you.
yeah, absolutely. Like this, even though the Sex Pistols, I think, had finished obviously by the time this film had come out, there was a big following in London. there was like punks were quite regular occurrence in London. Club, don't want to label them as troublemakers, but a lot of them were. They just had no respect for the police or anything. They thought they could do what they want.
I
So
guess
you do see them in a few films, come up as
right.
potential sort of threats.
I guess a lot of the punk music I wasn't really into. I mean, it's interesting to take a look at it sometimes, like those the Sex Pistol stuff and things like that. But that scene, I was probably too young really to get anything out of it. But later on, I guess the Ramones would probably, and some people might not consider the Ramones that much punk rock, like original punk rock stuff. But I do I appreciate their music.
Have you ever heard "Nevermind the Bollocks" by the Sex Pistols? Their only album.
I don't think so.
Oh right, I highly recommend that. That's a
Okay,
great listen.
I'll have to try to.
Whether it'll be your cup of tea, I don't know, but it's a great record. It even stands today as the test of time. I think it's one of the best albums ever made. Yeah, this place is creepy, mind, and it does look really creepy.
Oh, dude, I don't think I'd put my hand there.
Like Dario Argento got something similar in his shop in Italy, where you can go down and you can see all the older effects he had from Phenomena and Deep Red and all that.
Yeah, the Profondo Rosso shop. And Steve and I always say if we ever get to Italy, like we want to go there.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah. Venice is another place I'd like to go.
Yeah, I would too, because I keep asking Steve, can we go to all these places? And he's like, well, Venice might be underwater by the time we get there.
Yeah, my son was lucky enough to go a few years ago, and he said it's he says really nice. I'd like to go and see all the Don't Look Now locations.
Oh yeah.
So, as you know, I love that film. One of my favorites.
I do too. And like I said, I would love to cover it for the Eurocult show. But Steve is just so weirded out by that movie. I just I don't want to put him on the spot with it.
Yeah, I was going to pick it, but when I knew Steve wasn't particularly a fan of it, or maybe it unsettled him a little, I decided not to.
And something else he told me, and I don't think this is going to give anything away, but he didn't. I guess the ending of it didn't gel with him. The ending and the reveal.
Right. Okay.
I think that was the other thing that bothered him about it.
Yeah, that film is just gets under your skin. I think of a lot of people. I love the ending. I think the ending is possibly one of the best ever made. It's right up there for me.
Yeah,
and it comes straight out of left field as well. You just
exactly.
It doesn't really show you anything that until that final shot. Everything's up in the air. You just don't know where any of it's going, and it's actually quite a moving, ending to that film.
I just feel like Alice Sweet Alice and Don't Look Now. I feel like they bookend each other, but maybe that's me. And Steve seems to pretty much like Alice Sweet Alice, but he's so against the other film. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it could be another British thing again. So I remember seeing it on TV a lot. So my love of that film is not just because it stands as a film alone. It just stands, but it's a lot of nostalgia for me as well.
Right. Oh, Curly Jaws is saying, I want to go see the mean one. I don't know what the next movie that Steve and I are going to go see. And actually, I'll bring this up. This doesn't have anything to do with the movie we're watching, but we had kind of like they're called all hands meeting, and the IT department at my new job, we had one, and it was a Christmas themed one. And what they did was they had a couple of holiday quizzes, and we all competed against each other. And the people that got the most right answers on each of the quizzes, like the top three people, got a prize. So I didn't win off the first one, but the second quiz, I was one of the top three. And so they had like three gift cards, and they labeled them A, B, and C, but you didn't know what A went to or B or C. You just said, okay, I want B or whatever. And that was what I did. And so I won a $25 Cinemark gift card, which is, we have some Cinemark theaters around here in Louisville. So I guess me and Steve will be going to the movies on that, which
Nice, nice.
I was happy with that. The only thing I would have liked better than that was there was a $50 Amazon gift card.
Oh yeah, that would have been nice as well.
But I'll take the movie thing. I'll go see the movies or go see a movie. I'm sure there'll be something comes up that I want to see.
There's a thing here on YouTube I was looking at a couple of days ago, and it's showing you all the upcoming horror films that's coming up next year, which is
Oh,
quite
cool.
interesting. Um, a lot of them, quite a few of them got trailers, and quite a few of them obviously haven't. But I think it's like 10 films if you Google it.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah, I love lists anyway, so
I love it. Like Cliff hates every time they see Inspector Harris. He's like, "Oh God, he's here again."
what time are you on now, Dana?
Uh,
Time's now.
Let me see. 44 minutes and 25 seconds.
Right, and just a little bit behind. It's the advert of pain. I got him playing the flute. Have you just seen that now? Or
Well, actually, Cliff just walked away, and
okay,
Inspector Harris is talking to Kate now.
right, okay.
So, Darren, do you know what the difference is between the new Scotland Yard and I guess the old Scotland Yard? I always found that funny.
No, I just think it's the name. I don't think there's any.
No
Um,
changes.
yeah, I'm not even sure if that's a thing now. You don't hear of it much now.
Mm,
But back in the 80s, 90s, you knew Scotland Yard in every other British film.
right.
But yeah, this is so 1980s. This is just the way she's dressed as well, and
Oh, yeah. I love her hair too, though. I mean, like you said, she's not like drop dead gorgeous or glamorous gorgeous, you know. Um, she's just seems that there was always I always thought that there was a sweet quality to Kelly Baker, even in Slaughter High when she was obviously with her more popular crowd, and they were, kept playing tricks on Marty. She still just had sweet quality that I liked. Um,
Yeah, plus I think she's sexy as well. I think she can do both.
mhm.
Definitely got something you just can't put your finger on, but it's very charismatic. So in that making of a horror film, the documentary on this, Edmund Purdon mentions he had four wives,
Uh-huh.
and one of them almost killed him, almost electrocuted him in the bath.
Oh,
I don't know if this because she
yeah.
wanted a divorce or something, but
Right.
yeah, I remember that. It's quite funny.
And I'm not saying that at this age Edmund Purdle was unattractive or anything, or not a handsome guy, but I've seen him like younger, like pictures of him when he was real young, and he was a nice looking guy.
Yeah, he's a very good leading man. You know,
Mhm.
he is. Yeah, he is British, isn't he? Yeah, if I remember rightly. I was surprised at that as well after watching, pieces, and it took me as a bit of a shock.
Now, this housekeeper, I talked about her a little bit earlier, but she's just so oddball. Eh, and Darren, did you remember seeing in that documentary where they were showing some scenes that they didn't end up using, or versions that they didn't end up using? And did you remember the housekeeper was like bad? Like she was one of maybe several killers in the movie, or
Yeah, yeah. No, you mentioned it. Yeah,
she she was just laughing, like, cackling almost. I was like, that is so unlike how she ended up in the actual movie, but she's still a little off the wall and odd.
yeah, yeah,
That look that she gives right here is strange.
yeah. Another vibe I get from this as well in parts is Pete Walker's films. It's very kind of
Yes.
similar.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but since you brought that up, it is a very similar vibe to Pete Walker movies.
Yeah, especially that part with her then does
Mhm,
remind me a little bit. I'd say something like Frightmare or Schizo or something like that.
yeah. And I am a huge, huge fan of Pete Walker. I love his stuff. I mean, especially his slasher stuff. I like a wide variety of stuff, but the slasher stuff seems to be what I continue to go back to over and over again.
I think I've asked you before, but you've never seen The Comeback?
I have not, and I need to fix that.
Oh, yes, you
I
do.
have it, Wes gave me, one of those Pete Walker Blu-ray sets,
Oh,
a
nice,
while
nice.
back, and I believe it has The Comeback on it, so I have no excuse for not watching it.
I won't spoil it, but there's a very creepy scene with a hag mask that you might want to check out.
Oh, awesome.
That must have inspired Kurdians actually thinking about it.
Mhm. Kelly Baker's not running nearly fast enough.
I still got her on the phone because I had another ad break, but
Oh,
I forwarded now. Don't worry. Yeah, she's running now.
okay. I'm at 50:54 in case you need the timestamp, Darren.
Right. So I'm just a couple of seconds behind, but it might work out with the ads. So
I'm
have you mentioned that this was made by the same makers as Pieces and Friday the 13th?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Because the producer was a guy called Steve Minashan.
yeah, yep,
Um,
there was.
and I think like they co-produced Last Days on the Left as well, or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, so it has, you know, it's sort of one of those 6 degrees of separation type of deals because you can still keep getting connections to other movies. And
Yeah, didn't we see like a pieces poster in one of the films we've been watching recently? I can't place it offhand.
I believe so. I'm trying to remember where we saw it though.
Yeah, we've covered quite a few now for Eurocult.
Mm,
But we covered this. If anyone's interested, we did cover this film on Eurocult podcast 12 months ago.
yep.
So if you're on the Dead Pit Patreon, or just go back and you can listen to that.
I'm thinking when it's my turn again, I may use another wild card and just
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, got anything in mind that you don't mind
Uh,
mentioning?
I haven't, other than thinking that I want to go the wild card route, I hadn't really thought about it, but I'm probably going to peruse my Blu-ray and 4K shelf and see what jumps
Right.
out at me.
I think I got my next one picked. Probably going to be The Case of the Bloody Iris.
Oh,
I know you're not a massive Edwin Finch fan, but I just got to put it back in again. We'll probably end up covering all the horror films anyway.
I think I just like teasing you guys about good old Edwidge.
Yeah, I can I can get some of these Yalos I can understand they're not quite woman friendly to watch at times. They're very sleazy and that. So I do get what you're saying sometimes.
This guy. See, here's another drunk Santa Claus. He's got the silly string and
That guy was in the other guy was in Slaughter High as well.
oh, that's right. Yeah. And shortly we're gonna see Miss Caroline Monroe, who was also on Slaughter High,
Yeah, yeah.
as well as Maniac and a lot of other genre films, and a Bond girl as well.
That's right, yeah. I love her cameo in this, even like it's that song as well, Warrior of Love. It's just
Uh-huh. But
catchy.
and I love it too because it's just it seems to come out of nowhere. Um,
Yeah,
this thing.
it's probably time filler.
But there is a good interview with Caroline Monroe on the new Don't Open Till Christmas release that I enjoyed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I haven't checked that out yet, so look forward to that.
Scott's saying this would make a good double feature with Slaughter High. Yeah, if you might not be talking about it in those terms, Scott, but maybe one of these days I will have like a double feature watch along, but I'm going to have to probably have more than one energy drink or something like that to be able to stay awake for it. And old Curly Jaw says the guy that plays in Terrifier, Art the Clown, is in this mean one playing the Grinch. That's playing in the theater right now. I might go see it tomorrow. It's really tempting.
Right, I've not heard too much about that one.
Mm-mm. And another thing about it's hard to get Steve to go out to the movies as well, but I think we'll probably, he's not going to let me waste my Cinemark gift card. So I'm sure that'll be a way to entice him to go.
Have you got a time limit on that? Have you got to use it by a certain time?
I'm not really sure. I mean, some things will have an expiration date, and some things don't. I probably have to actually look at it when I get the physical card.
You usually got at least a year on things like that. But I obviously haven't seen the interview, but I did read a little bit about Caroline Munro. She said this was filmed actually in the street market, Portobello Road, Chelsea.
Hmm. You know, something I like about Caroline Munro, when every time she is interviewed, and usually what I watch her being interviewed about is horror films, but she never seems ashamed or embarrassed or anything. She says it was fun, you know, even doing things like Maniac, doing the little part in this movie, being in Slaughter High. She never ever downgrades any of the horror movies that she's been in, and I have great respect for somebody that does that.
Yeah, she's brilliant with all the fans as well. I've heard at conventions and stuff. She's actually doing a UK TV every Friday now. She's doing like a horror host,
Oh.
and that's pretty decent to check out. I've not seen it online though, so I'd like to see maybe an online version so Steve or yourself could check it out because it is
Oh,
it
yeah.
is really good.
I would like to see it, yeah.
But it's on one of those really small channels that not many people watch.
Darren, did I ever tell you about Steve had a chance to meet Caroline Munro many, many years ago?
Yeah, didn't he bottle it or something?
He he could not get himself worked up enough to go. He was too shy to go meet her. I was like, dang, Steve, you could have met Caroline Munro, you know.
I think I would have had a few vodkas or something.
Do something just so you could go.
But she still looks pretty good now, doesn't she?
Oh yeah,
She
very
really does.
attractive.
She's gotta be what? 70, gotta be, maybe.
If not close to it, I'd say. I think
Yeah.
I think the length of Kate's hair changes in this movie too.
Yeah, and her face as well rings a bell. And I'm sure she was in a lot of dramas on UK TV,
She looks familiar to me too.
like stuff like Dempsey and Makepeace, and I've been watching a lot of these old cop, shows, and it's
Mm,
surprising how many of these old actors you get come up on there.
uh-huh. Oh goodness. Sorry guys, I keep sneezing. Mm. I think if somebody done to me what is being done to Kelly Baker here, she's being tied up, can't or chained up, and can't move her arms or her hands or anything, and she's basically in darkness. I think that would kill me right there. They wouldn't even have to kill me. It would probably be too claustrophobic for me.
Yeah, is it ever mentioned in the film why he doesn't kill her off straight away? Can't remember now.
I I don't think it's ever like revealed. Um, at least in the versions that I've seen, it's not. But
Right.
I don't know if maybe um maybe he wants to save her to kill her on Christmas.
Yeah, I think that's what it was actually. Now you mention it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
This guy here, he's kind of sleazy too, especially the way he's looking at this blonde chick that just walked past him.
Oh, the big guy, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I keep referring to him as, or these guys dressed up as Santa Claus, but I guess it is technically in the UK. Is he called Father Christmas?
Yeah, yeah. I think Santa Claus is maybe. I'm not sure if it's just an American thing or other countries, but yeah, they usually call him Father Christmas. And this is one of the best scenes of the film.
And I bet it's going to get cut.
Oh yes. As a man, this is hard to watch at
Oh,
times.
yeah. Very painful, I would imagine.
Surprisingly, there haven't been that many, shots of
Well, you did
men.
see the blood there.
Yeah, yeah. Um, there hasn't been that many shots of, a man having his. You don't want me saying his dick cut off in a film. You've obviously got I Spit in Your Grave. You've got
Yeah,
the Bigfoot, haven't you, in Night of the Demon. I
yeah.
can't think of too many.
I mean, in Last House on the Left, Fred Lincoln
Oh right, yeah.
penis is not cut off; it's pretty much bitten off.
Oh yeah, that scene as well in that film.
That's a
But
big
because
show.
they filmed it, didn't they? And she had to bite on like a belt or something,
I believe
so
so.
it makes it look more realistic.
Darren, have you heard me talk about when I met Fred Lincoln years ago?
Not that I can recall.
That guy is. I mean, I know we're not talking about Last House on the Left, but that guy was a trip. I mean, I know he had been in porn and a lot of porn actually, but he was a really nice guy. When I met him, it didn't seem sleazy at all, and he I remember he signed the picture that I had. Dana, don't do it with your hands tied behind your back, which I thought was funny. At the time, I thought it was funny. I still think it's funny. And I believe this was his daughter who came up to him. It was just like when something like that happens, when you meet somebody who these people in these horror films and these exploitation films that I get to meet, to me, they seem larger than life. To people that don't like these genre of films, they might say, "Well, why are you getting so wound up over meeting these people?" But for those of you guys that like these types of films, you understand. So it just gave a sense of normalcy to, hey, this guy has a kid, he's just a normal guy. Um, and he made, some movie or a movie that I appreciate. But I just thought it was so cool. His daughter came up to him and asked him for $10 so she could buy a pair of jeans. And like
Yeah,
I watched him as he got his wallet out, gave her $10, and she went on her merry way. But that was just a little, to me, it was a little extra added something that, hey, this guy's, it doesn't matter that he was in porn. It doesn't matter that he was in these exploitation films. He's obviously a family man as well and cares about his daughter. Um, and
yeah. The strange thing about that is with him with Last Days on the Left was he was in fact uh, done a lot of writing for the film. He'd done a lot behind the scenes, and he wasn't credited for any of it. And he fell out actually with Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham, and they had this big feud going over years. So that's quite a sad, case with that film because
yeah.
he should have got a lot more credit.
Oh, yeah. And I think there was at one time a little bit of tension between Fred Lincoln and David Hess, as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. I think they make it up before they both passed, but
Yeah, I believe they did, but there at one point, I think David Hess kind of looked down on Fred Lincoln for doing all those pornos. Um,
right, right.
even though it's David Hess had been in a lot of strong scenes in several movies. Last House on the Left being a big one, with the the rape scene of Mary in the film. You know, that's obviously that rape scene looks so disturbingly realistic to me. Uh,
Yeah,
even down to the spit when he raises up off of her. And for those of you that have not seen the movie that are listen to this, you're probably thinking, "Oh God," you know, but it's very effective. Uh,
yeah. I don't think the film gets, you know, it should get a lot more attention than what it does. People look down on the film. They think it's just this, you know, not hardcore, but they think it's like porn sort of version.
right.
But it's a fantastic film. I think it's one of the best ever made. Um, and I know your thoughts. I know you pretty much love the film like I do. But I've never heard Steve. Does he like that film?
Well, Steve's kind of, I don't want to say he's funny about it, but he's very reserved about both Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave. And I really think it is the content that kind of keeps him from watching this movie more. You know, he doesn't ever watch it either film as much as I do. And I'm not saying that I watch it all the time or anything. I have to pick and choose my times when I watch both of those films. But Steve seems to almost be edging into the territory where it's so dark that it kind of turns him off. Um,
Right. Yeah.
I kind of get that feeling with both of those films, Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave.
Night Train Murders is another one as well. It's
Yes.
very, very dark. Maybe he feels, I don't know, he might feel a bit awkward watching it in front of yourself. Because, yeah, it's not the type of film you want to sit down with your wife or your girlfriend.
But fortunately for him, though, I'm a little different than your average girlfriend or wife. It usually what happens with a lot of guys, I think, is the wife or the girlfriend has no interest in genre films. Um, either horror, exploitation, you know, any of that kind of stuff. They just don't like it. It's not their cup of tea. Um, but for some of you guys, y'all got lucky that your wives or your girlfriends, even if they don't absolutely love them, they tolerate them, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether a girlfriend I would watch that with, though.
Yeah, it can, you know, it's not like that Steve and I like let's say the first month we were dating or anything, we watched anything like that. Um, that was on down the line. And actually, and this is going to probably make me sound like a pervert or a weirdo or something, but I was actually the one that wanted to watch like I Spit on Your Grave with Steve. Um,
Right.
you know, I was like, why don't we sit down and watch it? You know, because I had watched the movie several times over the years, and at the point in time that I asked him about that, I felt pretty comfortable with Steve. Um,
Right,
and
there's 20 minutes in there, though, and then the middle of that film is just brutal.
it,
it's
it
it's the type of film, for me anyway, I'd rather just go in a darkened room on my own and watch it,
yeah,
because, yeah, that it's quite hard to watch. It's hard to sit through at times.
but I guess you know I'm not again. I'm not trying to be vulgar or anything, but as a couple, Steve and I have not a whole bunch of them, but we have sat through you know part of a porno um together too, which honestly if I had my choice between a porno and watching something like I Spit on Your Grave or Last House on the Left, I'd much rather watch I Spit on Your Grave or Last House on the Left than a porno because the thing about pornos with me is I had a curiosity about them early on, But once I saw a few of them, it's like, this is the same old stuff. This is the same old stuff all the time. And then once the newness wears off, once that curiosity is, once you've gotten past that curiosity stage, I think, at least for women, probably, they're no longer interesting.
Well, again, without sounding vulgar or anything, but a porn, not many people watch a porno film all the way through anyway. They
Mhm.
get to the part they want to get to, a couple of minutes, and that's it. They're gone. You know?
Yeah, they get the money shot and then
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You do get some people, though, they do collect them, like the old vintage 70s porn and all that.
yeah,
I've never,
the big boxes.
yeah, and I've never got the appeal of that, to be honest. 'Cause I find it quite gross, some of those.
Oh, yeah, some of
Just
them
the
are just
bodily hair and everything. I just can't get past that.
right, exactly. I think this one, I mean, this isn't like a really gruesome kill, but this is an interesting kill here.
Yeah, you in the like where all the cars are now?
Yeah, actually, let's see, hold on here. An hour and 12 minutes, 54 seconds in. Now it's back to Kelly Baker again.
Right, and just before, only a couple of seconds before.
But
Yeah,
that
this is a good kill.
where he's basically, I guess, like it's like he's electrocuted almost.
Yeah.
And then I love this because Alan Lake brings her some food to eat. It's like, I'm going to feed you before I kill you.
Yeah, that's a great scene. And it's great to actually be able to see this film as well, all the details and stuff close up. Because that old print was awful on
Mm,
those big
oh
50
my
packs.
gosh, yes.
That's the first time I've seen a film was in one of those 50 packs.
I'm trying to
Drive-in, I think.
remember where I saw the first film. I don't, or the first time I saw the film. I Maybe I just ran across it by accident. I'm not really sure. I don't recall renting this one. Um, Darren Texas is asking, did you see that Jet Black from the Stranglers passed away?
Oh no, I haven't seen that. No. Oh God, they're all sort of going now, and they
Mm-hmm.
or you like childhood that you were fans of, and there's
So,
a there's a lady you wouldn't know I like, but quite a well-known comedy actress that passed away today as well from the UK. It's
oh, really?
always sad to see that, You
Yeah,
see their age, and she was like 79. And you think, oh, it's not so bad, but it's
right.
still a tragedy.
And Kirstie Alley passed away recently. Um,
Yeah, and I got something in common with you with her. I love Summer School. I think
yeah.
that film is brilliant. Um, a funny little anecdote. Don't want to go too much off topic. But when I was with all my mates back, I think I was like 16 or 17, and we all went to the video shop. And they weren't really like horror fans, or they were all at the time. It was all action, see Steven Seagal and all that.
Hmm.
But I rented Summer School because I'd seen it before a few weeks earlier with a girlfriend, and then we all sat down to watch it. And they're me thinking, oh, they're all gonna love this now, and they absolutely hated it. And they brought
Really?
it up. Yeah, they brought it up for years after. And all the humor in it, I was sat there pissing myself laughing, and none of them laughed at all during the film. I was
Oh,
mortified.
man. Yeah, that's hard for me to even envision somebody not getting something out of that movie.
Yeah, because I'd watched it a couple of weeks previously with a girlfriend. She loved it, and she was, laughing and everything.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
But it's sad to see her pass away. Obviously, look who's talking as well.
Yes.
Um,
So, guys, actually, there's not a whole lot left to the movie. We're about an hour and 16 minutes in, and this is, as Darren said earlier, an hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah, this is one always goes quick as well when you're watching it.
Definitely
Before you
not.
know it, you're at the end. What's that, sorry?
Oh, I just said it's definitely not a boring film. I think that's why it
No.
goes quickly.
And this guy does remind, someone mentioned it earlier about the David Hess. He has got that kind of look.
Well, Steve was actually the one that brought that up to me. I hadn't really paid that much attention. And Steve said, yeah, he's the British David Hess. And I was like, well, yeah, he kind of, some of his facial features and stuff do remind me of David Hess.
He doesn't have a very good ending to this film, does he? Yeah.
Mm.
I think she's kind of a good final girl.
I think so.
Surprised she didn't do many other films, though. I don't know whether that was like just a choice. She maybe had a bad experience on this and Slaughter High, maybe. I don't know.
Mm. Now, I'm thinking that the boy's mother, when she kind of falls down the steps, it's like her arm goes up, and I could have sworn there's like a big bunch of hair on her underarm. It's like, geez, I know like French ladies don't shave, but
Yeah.
I thought
Probably
the
the
British
stand-in.
girl did.
It's like the Knuckles in Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to know who gets a kid a knife for Christmas.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
especially this weird kid. I wouldn't be getting
Yeah,
any
this goes
sharp.
back to pieces, doesn't it? And it goes
Oh
back to
yeah,
like Nightmares on a Damaged Brain. You got the kid who,
and even Christmas Evil a little bit.
yeah, that's
I'm going
right.
to be
Yeah,
doing next weekend.
yeah, looking forward to that one actually.
It's like, yeah, I'm just going to cut on the tree, and the mom doesn't even get upset that he's cutting on the tree, the Christmas tree, with his new knife.
No, it's bizarre, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Especially the way he's, yielding that knife as well. It's not good.
So they edited that a little bit as well.
Because this scene to me like screams out he's going to be like a serial killer. you know.
A little late to be covering his eyes, Mom. See, there's the hair. That's obviously hair on her underarm, isn't it, Darren?
Right? Yeah. I think that would mortify me seeing that as a kid. it certainly changed the way you thought about Father Christmas.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, you got the same in Silent Night, Deadly Night.
So I've talked about this before, but I just don't understand. Like, maybe because Christmas Evil was quite a bit lesser known than like, and Silent Night, Deadly Night was just kind of out there and in people's faces and stuff. Maybe that's why. But obviously, Christmas Evil has quote unquote killer Santa Claus in it.
Right? Yeah.
Um, but it didn't never take any heat. But Silent Night, Deadly Night, TriStar had to pull that one out of the theaters because people were just outraged by that movie.
Did Christmas Evil play in the cinema?
That I'm not really 100% sure, Darren, if it did or not, and maybe that's another reason. If it didn't play at the theaters, then It definitely would have flew under a lot of people's radars.
I know, like the first time I watched Christmas Evil, I kind of wasn't expecting what I watched. And I
Hmm.
know a lot of people go in expecting a Silent Night, Deadly Night style slasher, and that's
Right.
not what you're going to get. That's not what you get at all. You get more of psychological study of someone who becomes deranged. And I think a lot of people don't like that film because of that,
Uh-huh.
which I don't understand because second time watching it when I realised, what it's all about, I love the film now. It's not, don't love it sort of like Black Christmas or this, but yeah, it's a pretty good film.
I'll be honest, the very first time I watched Christmas Evil, I thought it was a little slow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I liked it much better like the second and third time I watched it.
yeah, and we'll come on to that next week. But that ending as well is, yeah.
So Scott says, according to IMDb, Christmas Evil only played in theaters in Pittsburgh. So
Right,
that's
that makes sense. Yeah.
interesting. But we still got about um, 5 people in here, and I don't want to the movie is over, but if people want to discuss anything, Darren, if you want to bring anything up, um, feel free. I can probably
Um,
stay on here a few more minutes.
I know I've got I had a shipping notice for my Evil Laugh and Homegrown Horrors
Oh,
box set.
cool.
So that's coming in Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. I know you've had yours on your Evil Laugh.
Yes, yes.
Have you had a chance to look at it?
I did look at a little bit of the transfer, and I will tell everybody, including Darren. I hope Darren's not too disappointed in this. I did not realize until I started watching the transfer, like right at the beginning, Vinegar Syndrome had this little, anytime you get the black screen with a bunch of white writing on it, it's usually going to mean that you're not going to get a completely pristine copy of this, of whatever the particular movie is. So it was basically something about how Vinegar Syndrome had a hard time finding a really good print that was uncensored. So I think the gist of it is they had a decent copy, a decent print overall, film print, and then they had to put the uncensored inserts are video quality.
Oh,
So
right. I didn't know that. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
so basically what they're telling you at the beginning before the movie starts is that the quality may drop out or get lower in some parts of the film.
So it's like that old My Bloody Valentine DVD where it just got,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's what it's gonna be like.
Oh, at least I know now. I'm prepared now. Then. I
Yeah,
won't
I
be
didn't
that
want
disappointed.
I didn't want you to be disappointed or anybody else maybe that's ordered it that hasn't got their, copy in. I was pleased to see that there is a Hysteria Continues commentary on it.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I bought it. But I'm just pleased to have it, to be honest. Especially with the slipcase and everything, it looks really nice from what I've seen. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a nice, nice package. And I feel like it's worth it. Of course, I didn't pay for it. Steve did. Steve got it for me in this case, but I am going to be getting. I haven't got it in yet because due to having to wait for a paycheck, I didn't. I had to kind of cancel my pre-order on it. But the Black Christmas 4K, I am planning on getting that real soon. Um,
nice, yeah, nice.
Also, the Carrie 4K. I'm trying to think what else. Ghost Watch. I'm supposed to be getting that on Blu-ray.
Oh,
They
that's another good one. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, there might be one or two more. Plus, there's a whole ton of like, well, not a ton maybe, but there's a few Christmas like comedy movies that are coming out on 4K. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is one, A Christmas Story, and Home Alone, I believe. I think all three of those are. Um, I think they're currently out on 4K actually.
Can you remember the last time I spoke to you? I mentioned that A Christmas Story had never been played over here in the UK on TV.
Oh
But
yeah, and that blew my mind.
weird enough, it was on last night. I couldn't believe I
Oh
didn't get a chance
really?
to see it. Yeah, I was looking at what was to come on, later on in the night, and it was on there. But I can probably watch it on catch up because my TV you can go back and you can watch different days.
Oh yeah.
I did get the Shining 4K, the one with because the old DVD, the old Blu-ray here in the UK
Uh-huh.
hasn't got the full length, extended version
Oh,
like the
that's
US
right.
cut.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
got that. I was pleased to get that. I haven't opened it yet. I got Malignant as well on the 4K. I
I
did get a
think
few
Steve
others.
I think Steve got that one.
Yeah, it
I
was
got
going
more.
on a sale. It was Black Friday.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm gonna be getting in soon, and I can't. I'm just kind of.
I have ordered. I'm getting next week the Maniac, the new Maniac Blu-ray in the UK.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
Mainly for the reason that you just said. It's got like a Hysteria Continues commentary, which I'm looking forward to.
Mhm. I mean, Hysteria Continues, guys. I think that they're entertaining. They're knowledgeable. And I just enjoy listening to them. Sometimes I'll get a movie that I won't get a movie that I hate, but I have gotten movies where they're not my all-time favorites, but the just having the Hysteria Continues commentary on them, it makes it a little more entertaining than if you didn't have that commentary. Um,
Yeah,
I'm obviously not going to be like these people that you see on YouTube sometimes saying, yeah, I don't know anything about this movie, but I bought it, or I hate this movie, but I bought 5 copies of it, um,
right. Yeah,
which doesn't make sense to me at all. But
I'm a member of their Patreon, the Hysteria Continues Patreon.
oh, cool.
And what's interesting about that is the last 3 months they've done an audio commentary, which is just an exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So they covered Halloween, uh, Slumber Party Massacre, and what was the other one? Can't think of the other one offhand. Um, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, if people want to, maybe get into that or maybe subscribe to their Patreon, I think it's like $3 or $4 like a month. Plus, you get other exclusives as well. They do like 2 or 3 shows just exclusively for that. So but I love those guys. I think most of the Blu-rays or whatever they appear on is worth the price alone just for their commentary.
Oh yeah, and I like the fact that um well, Justin Kurzweil, is he British or
Yeah,
is
he's British. Yeah,
okay. And then Eric, he's
Irish.
Irish. Yeah. And then the
Uh,
two other guys are what, from Tennessee or something, or that
yeah,
area.
yeah,
Which I think that is just so unique that all four of these guys were able to, get together and do this show, because you have on the one side you have Justin and Eric's viewpoints on stuff, and then you have Nathan and Joseph. You have their thoughts on stuff, and it's just so. I mean, some of the stuff really makes me laugh because it's just really um, some things they all like kind of equally, and some things, really, maybe Justin might be really against it, or Eric might be really against it, or Nathan
Yeah, yeah,
Joseph. Um, but one of those guys, I can't remember if it's Nathan or Joseph. One of them likes everything. Do you
yeah.
remember?
Nathan, it is. Yeah,
Nathan
uh,
likes
and
everything.
he'll pick the most obscure, probably films that me and yourself like, to be honest.
Right.
Um, but the camaraderie they got, the four of them, is superb. I think Eric's one of the funniest guys ever. I think.
Oh, yeah, he
um,
does come off with some really funny stuff.
and it all kind of works because you've got Justin, who's pretty much a good, good straight man. Although I find him hilarious at times as well.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of the vibe I was going for with our, Eurocult podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Because you've got different, different countries and different parts of the, America as well with yourself. And
Yeah. I
so,
mean, and I think it works really well to
yeah,
have
it's
all
always
those
good.
different.
It's always good to know your views, and you know, I think I got more American friends now on Facebook and now than I have UK.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't, I'm kind of like Steve with this. If it wasn't for the internet, I know people say a lot of bad things about the internet, but the internet also has a lot of good things. I think if you allow it, the internet can allow you to make even stronger friendships with people than like people that you see on a regular basis. I mean, I know that probably sounds strange to some
No,
people,
it don't sound strange to me.
but without the internet, we wouldn't know. I mean, I would have never talked to you. I would have never talked to J Dog or Anthony, or I probably wouldn't have even talked to CK and Uncle Bill. I mean, how would we have like met each other? You know,
Yeah,
if it wasn't for the internet, even though they are in Eastern Kentucky, um, I just I just don't think we would have connected.
there's
Um,
no way we would have connected. I think Dead Pit started a lot. You've got these YouTube channels now as well, Pizzelle,
mhm.
and they all basically Dead Pit started for me anyway. They I think they started the whole thing. I don't
Oh,
think they get enough credit for that because a lot of these channels wouldn't be about now if it weren't for Dead Pit, and I mean that sincerely.
no, somebody has to be at the forefront of a lot of this stuff, and I think Dead Pit did that, and I say CK and Uncle Bill are very brave people, because it takes something to put yourself out there,
Yeah,
especially if you have a not popular opinion on something. But I thought that was great that they always forged ahead, even though they knew some of their opinions were not going to be the popular opinion. But I think that's why their show has stood the test of time, because they didn't bow down to anybody. They just went out there and they did their own thing, and they're still doing their own thing, and they don't care if you like them. Great. If you don't, you can go watch somebody else or go listen to somebody else. They're not gonna, they're not gonna cry about it. You know, you know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, and I found in the early days as well. I used to find that I like 80% of what they like anyway. So, but I mean, just if they don't like a film and I like a film, I'm not. You get some people that just turn off or they get but hurt. They get
Yeah,
funny, don't they?
they take it as a personal affront or something. I have never been able to get that. I would rather have good, healthy debates about movies, um,
Yeah, yeah,
or books or whatever you're discussing with people. you don't have to fight about it. You know,
No,
there could be
exactly.
good-natured ribbing, which I have with CK and Uncle Bill over several films, most notably, Terror on Tour. I mean, that's all
And
that
final exam, remember?
is. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's what makes the world go round, healthy debate.
mm,
It's great, don't get me wrong, when you got someone who likes the little films that you like and what have you. But yeah, it's good as well to talk about things. And that's, the main reason we're on here, to let people know about films, your thoughts and all that. Put people onto films, which maybe they wouldn't have been inclined to check out if they hadn't come across what you're saying. So yeah, the whole Dead Pit community though is fantastic. I find there's not many. There's been some really, like. Remember Doctor Blood? Was you there for that?
I think I just missed out on Dr. Blood, actually.
That was a strange one. That was because he was from the UK as well. So
Mm,
I sort of built up this little thing with him as well, where I was talking to him. He even had his own podcast, and he had like a really good sense of humor. He's quite, very British, but he had a good sense of humor. And
uh,
then he just went completely fucking nutsoid for some reason. I think they might have been on the boards or something. And then he completely turned on Dead Pit, and he made their life pretty much hell for a while, with multiple accounts and all that. It's just childish shit, really. But yeah, they've had some very different characters over the years.
yeah, and there was even like stuff later on, Darren. I don't know if you remember this or not, but like when about the time that Steve and I started dating seriously, and even a little bit before this, but I wasn't really involved in it, or wasn't whoever this person was, didn't latch on to me until I actually started dating Steve. But I think they were the same person that was making fun of Jess at the time. They would come into the Saturday Nightmare stuff
Oh, right.
and say just off the wall stuff. And like I think at the time that Steve and I started dating, I think whoever this person was, they either private messaged me during one of the Saturday Nightmares, or they might have put it in the public chat, but I can't remember at this point. But they told me that they saw Steve with some other chick at a horror convention. And
Bloody hell.
basically
God.
what I told them was, "You're full of shit," because I know where Steve was at that point in time, and he wasn't at any horror convention. I was with him. We were at his house, so he definitely was not at any horror convention.
Yeah,
So,
like you say, it's great, to talk to like-minded people and all that. But like any walk of life, you get some cycles, You just gotta, lucky enough, you got the delete or the block button now. But
yeah, definitely.
yeah, there's been a few. There's been a few.
Scott says, and there's the Madman versus Burning debate between Dead Pit and Dana. Yes, there is a there is a little bit of a debate, Scott, with Madman versus the Burning. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't hate Madman. I knew about Madman before I started listening to Dead Pit. Actually, I discovered that movie on my own. But I don't hate it, but I just think The Burning is a better film. Uh, and that's my humble opinion on it. But people can have, whatever opinion on it that they would choose to have on it. Um,
Right, I wouldn't have started listening to Dead Pit if it wasn't for the film Madman, because I think I've said this before, but I'll just briefly say I was watching a VHS, and then I was so intrigued with the film that I started to look it up online, and I come across Dead Pit interview with Paul Ellis.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, that's a difficult debate for me, because at one time I would have said Madman, and I probably did say Madman back in those days. But I
uh-huh,
think over the years now, I think the Burning slightly. I love. Don't get me wrong, I love Madman, but I think The Burning there has just slightly gone above it. The Burning for me is a top 5
Right,
slasher film of all time, really. Madman's probably definitely in my top 15, say.
right.
So that's how I regard them films.
I mean, I enjoy Mad Men. I mean, I even enjoyed it way back when before I knew even who Dead Pitt was. I thought it was a fun little slasher. I still think it's a fun little slasher. Um, and it's got, off the wall characters. Obviously these characters do some very weird things in the movie, and it's very entertaining to watch them interact in the movie. Um, but I just have to be honest. If I want to talk about which of the two films is more well made, I would have to say The Burning. Um, that doesn't mean that Madman's not fun, that it's not entertaining, that it's not a decent slasher. I'm just saying, in my opinion, The Burning is better, as far as, the way it was made, the quality of it, and all of that.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. Like, I think The Burning was 3 or 4 weeks ahead in filming to
Mm,
Madman,
yeah.
and they got someone on the Madman film got hold of the script of The Burning, and they actually had to change a few things because I think they were going to go with the Cropsy Maniac as well with
I believe
Madman.
so, yeah.
But I'm glad in a way because I think like Madman is just perfect. Madman Mars is just a perfect character. And
He
then
is.
you got Cropsy as well. So yeah,
Mhm. He is Madman Mars is an interesting character, and, they're both Madman Mars and Cropsy are urban legend type
yeah, yeah,
of characters, and I really like that. Even if you look at the Friday the 13th films, Jason is even, sort of like an urban legend. I mean, they tell stories around the campfire about Jason Voorhees.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think yeah, with the Burning is kind of you wouldn't have got the Burning without Friday the 13th, really.
mm-mm.
And I think it like that's where a lot of people compare the two, and maybe the Burning don't get enough credit, maybe at times, because everyone regards Friday the 13th as the benchmark, really, of those early, 1980s films.
Right.
And see the Burning as a little bit of a rip off of that. But I don't know. For me, I love Friday the 13th. I love the original. It's probably my favorite of the series. Wouldn't have been at one time, but maybe part 5 is, but we'll say Friday the 13th is
Right.
second.
Uh,
But the Burning, I think, is better for me anyway. I prefer the Burning, is what I'm trying to say, to
right.
Friday the 13th.
So, well, guys, now we went up to 6, but so I don't keep everybody too late. I think we had a good watch along. I feel like, there was good, conversation before and after the film. So I figured now is a good time to start tying things up here. So everybody can get their beauty rest. And how late is it there, Darren, right now?
Right, it's just gone 2 in the morning. It's not too bad on the weekend.
Yeah, I know Darren tells me that it's not, if I do one of these on a Saturday and it runs into the wee hours of the morning for him, it's not too bad. Um, but we
I
all
gotta usually like plan them out if I'm honest, plan
exactly
it so I'm not doing anything the next day.
right, yeah. Uh, rest that rest away that Sunday before we have to start the week. Um, But, Darren, is there anything you want to bring up before we get off here? Or
Not really. I was just where that film has been playing on YouTube, I've just let it run, obviously, as I'm talking to you. But
Uh-huh.
now it's jumped to Tales from the Crypt from 1972, and it's on that Killer Santa with
Oh, is it really?
Joan Collins, which is quite strange. But I haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah,
Um,
that one's good.
but that's one film. Is it in the called? That segment's called All Through the House, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
yeah,
they
go on.
did remake it for the Tales from the Crypt show on HBO. Uh,
That's what. Yeah, one. Oh, I'm trying to think who played the killer and that.
Larry Drake actually played.
That's why. Yeah, Doctor Giggles.
Exactly.
But that's a film, Tales from the Crypt, 1972. If you want a little bit of Christmas horror, I'd recommend that to
Yep.
anyone.
Yep. Definitely. So, I guess with all that being said, I want to thank Darren for being on here for the watch along with me. That way, you guys didn't have to hear my boring thoughts the whole way through. It makes it a little more entertaining to have somebody else on here with me.
That's
Um,
okay. I've enjoyed it.
well, I I feel like well, everybody that I've had on, at least they seem like they're having a good time. TJ seems like he has a good time. John seems like he has a good time. Darren, you do. So when old Curly Jaws, when he's on here doing things with me, he seems like he has a good time. So that pleases me that that everybody seems to be enjoying um, either the streams or the watch alongs or whatever. Everybody, like I say, you have an open invitation to come on. All you got to do is ask. I mean, um, and in some cases, you don't really have to ask. Just click on that link. I usually try to put the link in the chat every time, especially for these watch alongs.
I'll hopefully come on next week on camera. I don't mind. It's just sometimes offhand, if I'm like, don't think I'm going to be doing it, and then I'll get the urge to do it. It's just easier to come on mic, really,
Uh-huh.
especially
Oh,
because
that's
it's so
fine.
late as well.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
But if I know in advance, I don't mind going on camera.
Okay. Gotcha. Um, so Texas says, I always do. Don't forget me. LOL. Sorry, Texas. I don't mean to leave anybody out. Yes, you seem like you enjoy it too. And everybody, like I said, has an open invitation unless you prove to be an asshole. And so far, nobody has done that. So,
Yeah, I was just going to say to Texas, like jump on next week as well. So it'd
yeah, that would be
be a good
cool.
laugh.
Hmm. And I
Because it
was,
was when he was on earlier, wasn't he? He was quite funny.
yeah,
You know, TJ
very,
as well, superb as
oh,
well.
TJ, some of the stuff TJ just kills me. He actually went. I didn't see him in here tonight in the chat. So,
Let's
uh,
see if we can get 3 or 4, maybe more
yeah,
in next week.
my that is my ultimate goal every time that I'm hoping that more. I would love to get it like when we did Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker and CK was on and I believe Texas was on that one. Darren, were you on that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
What was the one as well we did that Jay jumped on as well? That was another good one.
Oh, that was cruising, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That he got on.
So
Yes, that one was good. I hadn't seen Jay for a while since.
I haven't no either. But he was entertaining as well.
Yeah, and I think he enjoyed it. He seemed like he was enjoying himself, and I believe he messaged me after it and said, "Thanks for having me on. I had a good time." Uh,
Oh, nice, nice. I think it's just a time for him, isn't it? The time zone.
yeah, I think that's probably a lot of it.
It's like
Uh,
9 in the morning or something over there.
exactly. It just I've said it before. I'll say it again. It is so hard for me to like get my head wrapped around all these different uh times. Like even with the UK, it's I keep think in my head sometimes I'm thinking everybody's on the same time, and then I think, wait a minute, No.
Yeah, yeah.
Darren's in the UK, for instance. It's not going to be the same.
It's like whenever, if ever you could, or fancy doing a show, say, I don't know, say afternoon time for the UK, which would be, or maybe late morning for yourself on a Saturday or a Sunday, when we
yeah,
haven't got the podcast, just let
yeah,
me know because I can shoot the shit for a bit. Like, we could do.
yeah, I might try that. That would be interesting to see.
Only do it, say maybe once a month.
Hmm.
Maybe try that out. Like, I'm up for that. If you want to
I'd be
do,
interested to see how many people we'd get in here doing it at that time because I haven't really tried that.
yeah, that would be the only, yeah, maybe that would be the only bad point of it.
We might get a
But
lot. There might be a lot of people that would come in.
if you could do it, say 2 o'clock your time in the afternoon, it'd be about 7 my time. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Maybe have like a topic or something, and then shoot the shit for like 2 or 3 hours. I don't mind. I don't mind that.
Yeah, when John was on with me for the last My Dinner with De Palma, we were on there for over 3 hours total.
Yeah, I
Because
forgot to mention John as well. Yeah, he's another one. Yeah, I,
yeah,
I find him brilliant as well. Very
oh,
knowledgeable.
I love John. He's a really good guy, and he has like very valid opinions on stuff too. As
Yeah, very very easy to
y'all do.
talk to as well.
Oh yeah, very easy to talk to. But Darren, were you were in? Yeah, you were in the last My Dinner with De Palma in the chat at least. That's
Yeah,
the
I was gonna get to watch Body Double again, but I didn't get to watch it. I've got it
right.
now on my to watch list again. It's been a while, so I thought, I don't want to go on there and not know,
Let,
my stuff.
let me ask you this: did you notice that I seemed a little bit off my game near the end of that one, or were you still in there towards the end?
I was there, yeah, I didn't notice nothing at all.
Okay, I figured that because when I got off camera, um, I was all sweaty and stuff because, like I said earlier, my blood sugar went down really quickly. Really, it was just like one of those real fast things.
Oh, right.
It just hit me all of a sudden, and that's why I kind of cut it off the way I did, um,
I
because
didn't notice anything like
oh
that
wow,
at all.
I must have been holding up pretty well. I must have been holding up better than I thought I was because my head was all foggy and I
Right.
I just felt like I was like, "Oh, people are gonna think, what in the world is wrong with her?" Um,
No, don't worry. If that ever happens in the future and you're in the middle of a stream or something, your health is more important. Just shut it down. Don't worry about things like that.
well, I figured at that point in time, after we'd been on there for over 3 hours, I figured nobody's gonna care if I cut it off now anyway. And I have gotten up and said, I've got to get some candy or something, and then I come back and finish up. And you guys are always understanding about that. Um, Texas says, Darren, we could talk punk rock records and bands. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know how
Yeah,
much input I would have. I'd be talking about the Ramones, but I could,
I wouldn't say I got a massive. I like the Sex Pistols, something like Generation X and stuff.
mm,
But I'm not massive. I was more of a thrash metal fan or heavy metal fan. But yeah,
uh,
I could talk. I could talk music.
yeah, I could talk like different kinds of music too as well. I might surprise y'all with some of the singers and bands that I like. But guys, I hate to get off here with 7 people in here. I think it goes back to what Wes always tells me that he says the later you have these things, the more people you're going to have on. But um, I'm getting older, guys, and I can't hardly stay on like really late anymore. I think I'm getting like Steve, where sleep's becoming an important part of my life now, or at least rest, maybe not sleep necessarily, but rest. So it's hard for me, especially during the week. I don't see how CK and Uncle Bill do those 10 p.m. shows. I mean, and I'm talking about starting at 10 p.m.
Oh
Um,
yeah, they do
for
them, and they're so like switched on as well. They know, they don't seem tired or nothing. They just carry on going in like, yeah, professionals those two are.
a lot more professional than I am because
No, I don't mean anything against yourself.
oh no, I'm just saying I think they're I feel like they're more professional than me because I just can't do that. I maybe could have in my 20s maybe or possibly 30s, but I'm headed towards 50 now. I'm 46, so I just I hate it, but I've gotten to the point where I just can't do that. I can't pull all-nighters.
You've still
Uh,
got 5 years on me anyway. But yeah, it's not good to get into 50. I will say that.
yeah, Steve says the same thing. So, but anyway, guys, I want to thank everybody for being in here tonight. Uh, thank Darren again for being on the watch along with me live.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. It's been fun as always with everybody. But I think it's time for me to skedaddle on out of here for the night. And I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now. And Darren, you have a good morning.
And you, Dana. Speak soon.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.